The sun was setting. I sat in the music room. It was time I went to Santa Monica. The Carpaccio family would know I was near, but the pull to stay at Matthew's was overwhelming. Any time now, the headlines were going to be the lead story on the news. Tilford, Hollywood mogul, mysteriously disappears. Executive question, mystery woman missing in connection. I could see it all playing out before my eyes. I wanted to forget the last 2 days entirely. At the same time, I wanted to brand these quiet moments with Matthew into my heart forever. But I knew in my world Matthew would never fit. Not entirely. He was too good. Eventually life with me would turn too toxic to deal with. He would either be forced to abandon me, or worse, he would sacrifice too much and eventually wither away and die. Sitting there with my violin, I knew I had to go. Sonny Carpaccio was waiting, and my window of opportunity to leave Matthew and execute Sonny was a narrow one, yet I could hardly bring myself to stand. Love made me weak and vulnerable, and while those might be good things for most people, they were luxuries I couldn't afford. I laid my violin down in my case and closed it. I knew what I had to do. I had to kill Sonny Carpaccio and the Carpaccio clan. Then it would be over, and I could return to the warm embrace of Matthew's home, his life, and arms, if only for a little while. I rode along the Pacific Coast Highway up to Santa Monica. Combat boots, black jeggings, black t-shirt, and a vinyl members-only jacket gifted to me so long ago by a grateful friend whose name escaped me at the moment. Driving along the road in my jet black 76 Corvair, I let it fly and hugged the corners. My mind was racing just as fast. That I was coming face to face with the ones directly responsible for this life I had been forced to choose was hard to get my head around. I'd been waiting for this moment all my life, it seemed. As a rule, I had ice water in my veins, but this kill was different. I wasn't just killing a man or two. This was the head of a family and all his organizational family falling like dominoes until there was no one left. In the process of avenging my family, I had become the very thing that had stolen my family away from me. You can turn this car around, Ariel. I could practically hear Matthew's voice whispering. You can turn the car around and come back to me. Choose life. Choose love. Choose good. Then I saw Tilford. I saw Matthew's face sprayed with his blood. I saw my father and brothers laying dead on the floor, and I could feel the heat of the flames licking at my feet. Damn it, get your shit together. You have a job to go to. Suddenly, I was in Matthew's pool making love. I knew I was being stupid as I turned the Corvair around and floored it. I didn't think. I ran on instinct. All I heard, all I saw, all I smelled, all I tasted was Matthew, and in him, ecstasy and salvation. Even though I was going at breakneck speed, I blacked out. I remembered nothing of the drive home in the moonlight. I got out of my car and crashed through the doors into his den, and there stood Matthew, drink in hand. His eyes met mine, and he just seemed to know. Setting his drink down, he came to me. Thank God you're okay. He took me in his arms, and I held fast to him. I'm falling apart, and I'm here to catch all the pieces and put them back together. You can't. My mind is spinning out of control. Your past is trying to destroy you, and I won't let it. He handed me the drink. I took it and swallowed it. I breathed heavily as I looked at him and ripped his shirt off, sending buttons everywhere. I whipped his belt off and unzipped his pants. He gazed at me hungrily. He swallowed me up in a demanding kiss while pulling my shirt off while I kicked off my boots. We shimmied out of our pants, and as he leaned back, he pulled me on top of him. Ride me, my dark angel. Ride me as if you were purging the devil and I was the only cure. I straddled him, and his hand slid up my stomach, touching and caressing my breast. I jerked and began to rock. Keep your eyes on me, Ariel. He placed his hands on my rear and guided me to his rhythm, taking my breast into his mouth. He suckled it, and I grinded and rocked harder. Fuck me, my knight in shining army. Make me feel you, make me know only you. He rose, and paper scattered everywhere, and the computer went crashing to the ground. He flipped me to my stomach and went behind me. He cut my breast as he thrust powerfully inside me and massaged my breasts harder. He thrust harder and harder until we both came, our names falling off one another's lips. He rolled over and laid on top of me, kissing my mouth tenderly, his fingers running through mine, clasping them. He pushed gently inside me until we came again, and he whispered in my ear, "I love you, Ariel." My heart shattered into a million pieces as I gazed into his eyes and murmured, "I love you, Maddie." He held me in his arms. I held him in mine, for now I believed the lie could have this, that things would be okay, and that we could have forever. In his room, I watched him sleep. My God, he was handsome, dashing even with his hair mussed and completely relaxed. I was utterly exhausted, but I couldn't sleep. Sonny Carpaccio was out there, and I still needed justice. Now that the noise in my head had quieted, I needed to think about how to excise that scum without creating blowback on me and Matthew. I would not give up what I had just discovered. I had not known love since my family died, and the time I spent with Sophie and Matthew as a child. It was a heady feeling. I was drunk on it. I wanted to revel in it. I wanted to be normal and leave the life behind for good. That wouldn't happen until all our enemies were vanquished. I heard him stirring. "Come back to bed, Angel," he murmured. I did not deny him. I would not deny him. I was his and he was mine, mind, body, and soul. I would never love anyone else the way I loved Matthew. I knew it as we cuddled again and drifted off to sleep, me believing the lie and him blissfully unaware.